Hi everyone, so I thought I would try to make a trick tip video for beginners at longboarding, since I am a beginner at longboarding, and I thought it might be a useful perspective to learn from someone who is also like in the process of learning how to do like beginner tricks, because I feel like a lot of the videos on YouTube are of much higher quality, people who are much better at longboarding. So I thought I'd just give some insight into like how I have learned these steps like very recently, and yeah, just take my advice with a very big grain of salt. But I'll just go through like definitely tips that have helped me get better at the move. I guess I'll just break down like 5 tricks that I think like are the most easy tricks for beginners to learn, and walk through like how I learned them and like how I broke them down. So the 5 tricks that I thought I would try to like explain are the 180 step, Peter Pan, cross step, ghost ride, and pivot. Yeah, so for the I guess before even trying to do these tricks, I would recommend that people like get comfortable just skating around and pushing and stopping and carving and turning. So just get those steps down first. For the 180 step, use the momentum of the turn to help you like turn your body 180. So essentially like you can think of like the curve as like going this way and that way, and then when you're like on the fat part of the curve, so like about to turn towards the center and about to turn back, like at the fat part of the curve, like make that 180 step, and then that will help you like use the momentum from the turn and like make the 180 step. Also, when you're stepping, like kind of like rotate your chest before you actually like move your foot, because that like will help you turn better. And then I would also say just like keep your chest like over the board. So when you're turning, like you want to put your foot like, you want your chest to be like kind of hanging over the board and then taking a step. I would say try the 180 step first. I think a lot of people recommend like say cross step is easier for beginners, but personally I found a 180 step easier because it kind of like matched with the flow of like turning and carving and like going forward. For Peter Pan, I would say like bend your knees and start near the back of the board. I would say like try to get comfortable riding forward first. So like normally you ride like sideways on the board, like get comfortable riding like forward, both feet like parallel to the length of the board. And then once you get comfortable doing that, like bend your knees and then keep your torso like right over your board and right over your feet, so that will help you balance, and then just like cross your foot over. And it kind of helps to start the same way as like a 180 step, where you kind of make your feet into like a T and then step. I think another tip that people recommend is to just like start near the back of the board, because like as you do the cross steps, you'll like eventually move forward on the board. So it helps to start on the back so you can do like as many as you want. I think my personal record is like maybe like 3 Peter Pan steps or 4 Peter Pan steps, so I'm definitely not there at the level I can do it just like infinitely amount of Peter Pan steps, but yeah, I still think like 3 steps looks pretty cool. So alright, so the next one I'm gonna go over is the cross step. For the cross step, I still like don't 100% have it down, so it's like super natural for me. I think, yeah, you just need to like embrace the fact that the cross step will like never really feel 100% natural when you're doing it. it's just like through practice that it'll become muscle memory and it'll feel like it's okay. Like I remember the first few times I did a cross step, I was like, I'm literally about to fall off the board, like how is this allowed? But you just have to like embrace the feeling and keep trying at it. Yeah, so a lot of people recommend doing like toe side carve first, so like pressing down on your toes first and then using the pressure on your heel side. And then I would say like also angle your feet at like slightly forward at like 45 degrees, and then make sure you step like close together, like in between the bolts of the board, and then also it helps to like look down at the board. Yeah, it definitely helps to just like put your board in the grass and just like do cross steps like over and over again until you get used to the feeling, and then trying to do it like as you're going forward. And as counterintuitive as it seems, like it helps to go at some amount of speed. So if you're like doing that at standstill, it's much harder to balance it if you're like going at like very, very slowly. So I would say this one just kind of like you have to get past the mental barrier of like going forward and crossing your feet and losing balance temporarily. But yeah, those are my tips for cross steps. For the ghost ride, I think this is also a very easy trick. I would say like the 180 step and the ghost ride are like the two tricks that I got down first. For the ghost ride, I think it's pretty similar to Peter Pan, where you like kind of make like a T with your feet, except your foot is on the other side of the board now, and then you're just like hopping off the board, and as soon as you hop off, like immediately hop back on. Like it will seem slow to other people, but when you're like actually on the board and riding, it will seem like I had to jump on like immediately. To like make it seem like I'm actually doing the trick. Yeah. And then I would also say like step off near the front wheels, like close to the board, because like as you're going forward, like if you hop off, the board will continue to go forward without you. So kind of just like step off near the front wheels of the board and then hop back on immediately, and then jump back with your like feet like perpendicular to the long length of the board, and then like try to ride away smoothly. For the pivot, I would say this is also like a mental one where you just like commit to it. Like in your head, like you know how to do a pivot, right? You know how to like turn your body 180 degrees, but it definitely takes like a mental barrier to get past that. So I'd say like, you know, like helps to rotate your upper body first, and then bend your knees, and then like lift your leg up and then bend your knees again. And then if you're very scared of it, I would say practice like quarter turns first. So just like try to turn like a small amount and then get comfortable doing like the larger 180 turn. So these are my tips as a beginner who just learned these moves, and I hope this like helps other people who are beginners trying to learn like the 180 step, the cross step, Peter Pan, ghost ride, and pivot. So I hope these like tips help, and yeah, I believe in you. I think you can do it. It definitely takes some commitment though. Like I think if you just keep at it, like you will get there eventually. And like do not be intimidated by other people who have been longboarding for a while or are just like catch on to things very quickly, because everyone progresses at their own speed. And I just started and I still suck at it, but I was able to do it. So I think that you can too.